What's up guys, welcome to the channel. Today we'll be tackling the Gunslinger class. This will be a guide for the Gunslinger. So it's been long awaited. I put this off for quite a while. I'm not really sure why, but I guess it's mainly because I'm not really into the whole physical class of a thing. But anyhow, let's start with the video. So the Gunslinger class is a physical damage dealing class. It's your typical glass cannon. This means it can barely absorb as much damage as classes like the Blade Masters, the Phantom Sounds. Heck, even the Soul Dancer is more tanky than this class, or can be more tanky than this class. But in the end, it depends on how you build the class. So I'll be showing you guys the build I use for this class, and I'll give you options that you can use to strengthen your own Gunslinger if you still feel the need to use this class, because right now at the level 140s, with the introduction of the Illusionist, the Gunslinger class is not really strong per se in PvP versus the Illusionist. You probably will die a lot faster. But against other classes, even against the Phantom Sound, this class is seriously amazing. Like, check this out. Just look at the damage I'll deal to any of these monsters. That's 16 million damage from one attack. 19 million, 18 million. So this class is a big damage dealer. But in cases of absorbing damage, survivability, it's not really its strong suit. So anyway, we'll start this guide with the stats. The stats for the Gunslinger, I'll suggest first you go with your physical attack and wind attack. That is elemental attack. Try to have this in all your gears if you can. Have physical attack, have strength, and have wind attack in your gears. This will help you gain more or deal more damage in the long run. Followed by critical level, then armor penetration level. Get these four things as high as you can: physical attack and wind attack, critical level, and armor penetration level. Get those things as high as you can. Then you can have your CDR, because these classes skills, they have long cooldowns, so CDR will be quite helpful for this class. If you can have it in your gears, it will be very helpful to you. So to get that in your gears, get CDR. I won't really suggest you go for things like Insight, but if you have a very good quality of it, then sure, slot it in. Then finally, I'll suggest you average your defenses and your multi-strike. Just average it, because I don't think, no matter how well you buff your defenses, you just can't absorb as much damage as other classes. So it's better you just average that and focus on increasing your DPS. Now for the skills of the class, there are quite a number of skills. The first is this. The first you should know is Wind Shot. That skill is going to be very important to you. It's an AoE damage dealer, and it increases your charge. If you haven't noticed, the Gunslinger uses charges for its attack. So each of its skills uses charges. So Wind Shot will help you gain those charges. The next and your most important damage dealing skill is the first one, Pulse Bomb. It deals an insane amount of damage for a skill that just has 2 seconds cooldown. Or is it 3 seconds? Yeah, 3 seconds. I'm thinking it's originally 4 seconds, but yeah, it's quite helpful. Then you have your Kameha. That's this skill right here, the third skill. That can like, it absorbs all your charge, then it deals a big amount of damage. Let me just show you it right here. You see, it absorbs all your charge and deals from 3.5 million to 8.6 million damage, and that's just with my low attack. So this skill is quite helpful. Meanwhile, Wind Shot is your least damage dealing skill. Then Pulse Bomb is like your most important skill for this class, and you have your CC immunity skill, which is Arbiter of Peace. In this skill, you switch from your normal two-handed gun to a machine gun. Yeah, it is. It stuns the opponent and deals AoE damage. So this is quite helpful. But the problem is you can miss quite a lot with this skill, with the auto of this skill. But it's quite nice. Then the second mode for this class or the second skill set are these ones. You have from starting from down up. The first skill is this. It stuns the opponents, and what's the name? Tesla solenoid. I always forget the name. I'll just call them my own name, the name I develop for them. Then you have your landmine. That's this one right here. You drop mines on the floor, and after I think 3 seconds, it activates and explodes explodes the opponents. It explodes on them and stuns them. Then you have your satellite skill, which is this one. It does an insane amount of damage. Here it is. But it takes a while for it to actually, that's it. But it takes a while for it to actually proc, so your opponents can dodge it, especially the Reapers. The Reapers can dodge this skill, so be careful with it. Then you have your invisibility skill, which is one of the most useful skills for this class. So those are the skills for the Gunslingers. Now the combat settings. This is what I use for PvE. It's mainly just this. I try to focus mainly on pulse bump, and this is what I use for PvP. Although I really don't use auto for my PvPs, I have to let you guys know about that, because I mainly use manual. So use this if you feel like you want to use auto, then I think this should be alright for you. And now the talents for the Gunslinger. I have 2 talent builds right here. The first is PvE and the second is for PvP. For the S level talent, you have focused bombardment. It increases the damage of your satellite skill. That's this one right here. This third one. Increase the damage of it and makes it hit 3 times instead of 1. Or you can switch it to this, infinite firepower. But mainly I just use the focused bombardment. Then for the A level talent, you have sneak attack, which increases your critical rate by 30% and gives you super ammo when you use a skill after in your invisibility state. Like as I'm in this state, and if I use this skill, I gain super ammo and my critical rate is increased. So I will be able to deal more damage thanks to, my skills being critical. Then for the B level talent, you have explosive rounds. This increases the damage of your pulse bomb by 175%. Although it increases the energy you need to perform it, but in the long run it's quite helpful because this already deals 2 million damage at the upstart, so 175% increase to this is gonna be insane. Then for the C level talent, I use charge implosion, but you can switch this out to precision strike. Just know that the energy you gain when using precision strike will not be as much as the one you gain when you use charge implosion. So yeah, it's your choice. Now for the deep talent for PvE. Okay, and that's it for the PvE build. For the PvP, this one is a little more complicated. This depends if you want to go pure DPS or if you want to go a little defensive. Now this is the build I used for my arena. If you haven't watched the arena video, you can check it out. I'll leave a link in the description and in the comment section. So we have S level talents to reduce the damage you take every time you are in heavy form. What I mean by heavy form is every time you are in this state, your final skill, this heavy machine gun state, all damage dealt to you will be reduced by 35%, which is quite helpful. Then for the A level talent, we have concealment. For 6 seconds after you activate stealth camouflage, all damage dealt to you will be reduced as well. The A level talent is quite helpful when you are stuck in an illusionist cage and stuff, because right now the damage of illusionist is quite insane. So couple concealment and infinite firepower, we have 80% damage reduction. If you have a skill or an EX like Royal Fire activated that reduces your damage received a little more, you can almost cancel out the entire skill because you still have to receive damage, but but the damage will be almost negligible. So with these two, that's the A level talent and the S level talent, Infinite Firepower and Concealment, you should be able to survive a lot longer with this class. But if you want to go more DPS, you will have to change A level talent Concealment to Sneak Attack. Then you can also change C level talent Charge Implosion to Precision Strike, but I think I would advise you to leave it at Charge Implosion because you will need to gain your charge point as fast as possible in PvPs. So this is what I use for my PvP. Now for the deep talents, this is the talent point that helps you gain minefield on the floor every time you dash. So every time I dash, the minefield will be on the floor, and when the opponent steps on it, it's going to explode. Just like that. And that's it for the PvP build. First, the two main EX, I think Devil Wind is the best for PvP and Hawkeye is better for PvE. Then for the support X, Royal Fire is one of the best, followed by Holy Judgment, which shows itself more in the early stages of the game. And finally we have Minefield. Those are the three EX I think that suits the Gunslinger class best. In the aspect of course, I think you can go with 9 fire, 5 wind, and 2 water. But you can also switch these to 9 wind, 5 fire, and 2 water. Anyone you want really, you can either go with the pure attack build or the critical build, but you can always just mess around and find the one that suits you best. Moving on to the dragons. For the 5-star dragons, the first one I'll suggest will be Wingless Owl. It has critical rate increase and critical damage increase, which is perfect for this class. Then if you do not have or do not want to use the Wingless Owl, the second best choice will be Serpent's Tail, which reduces the opponent's defenses. Now for the 6 stars, the first one I'll suggest will be Norton. This removes super armor. You can use this and combine it with your stun skills. That's this first one, then Hit Blast, and it's just be a continuous stunning. You could even add Holy Judgment to the mix. The second dragon I'll suggest for you will be Leviathan, mainly because of the increased damage. And finally will be Fenrir for the damage reduction. So those are the dragons I'll suggest for you. Now for the allies. This is really based on how you plan on playing. Do you use the damage reduction strategy? Do you want to go pure crit or do you want to go pure damage increase? Now if you use the damage reduction strategy, I'll suggest you go with Police Airy, and second will be Captain Caesar. Any ally that has the damage reduction effect as its passive. Then for those who want to use the critical build, the first ally I'll suggest for you will be the original Airy. That's this one with her passive that increases your character critical damage. Then the second ally will be Trip Luminous, and the third ally will be Love Luminous. There are probably other allies that suits this category, so you can just find out which one you have. Check out the critical, check out the passive. If it increases your critical level, critical percentage, or critical damage, then you can slot it in for your center ally. The third group, which are those that just want an ally to increase their damage, I will suggest you go with Love Johan. That's one of my suggestions. It's really an awesome ally. His passive is there, and yeah, it's kind of nice. The second ally for this is the one I'm currently using, which is College Airy. She has the damage increase passive as well, and the hit increase and stuffs. Some other allies include Guardian Luminous, Band Johan Chu, and probably whichever that increases your damage. Then for the support allies, of course, you definitely want to have Anjo. You also want to have Mingzulu. Those are two very important allies. Then for the other ones, you can probably have any of the Caesar and whatever other ally you can find that will be helpful to you. For gears, first let's talk about the Draconics. There are two drags I would suggest for you if you plan on using the Gunslinger. The first will be the Cloth Drag Unbreakable Wheel. So every time you dash, instead of your super armor lasting for 2 seconds, this will help you have about 4 seconds super armor. So with this, you will not get stunned as much anymore, because this class is quite susceptible to stuns, especially when playing against classes like the Blade Masters and the Soul Dancers and stuff. This will be very helpful to you. The next drag I would suggest is the Boot Draconic. There are 3 here that I would advise you to choose from and use. The first being the Wind Tamer drag. This is really useful for those below level 110s. Like if you've not yet gone above that level, this drag is super helpful to you. But after that level, it's still useful, but the problem is the damage of players becomes too high. So you're going to need something like the Earth Shield, which is the golden drag. You're going to need this to help you survive a lot longer. But if you do not have this, there's also another drag that can be quite helpful to you, and that's the Endless Test. Just like it says there, it increases your CDR by 5%, so it will help you because this class's Q's cooldown are insane. Check this out: 45 seconds, 30 seconds, 12. They are just 24. It's crazy. Moving on to the sets. As usual, I'll give you options here. The first will be for those who want to deal as much damage as possible. These players will need 6 pieces of any of the strength increasing sets, that's including Ragnarok, Loki's Scheme, Dragon Rider Spear, and Suitor's Rage. Any of these stuffs that increase your strength, that gives you the strength right here, you can slot 6 pieces of them in because they'll be quite useful to you. Then for the remaining 4, you can just have any of the dexterity increasing sets, that's Frigga's Key for the level 120s, for the level 130 and 40s, Venom or Venom II. Then you have other ones that have Freya, then Freya's Bowstring for the level 110s, and I think the other level below that you can find the sets for yourself. So this is for the first group that wants to increase their damage as much as possible. Then for those who want to have damage and also want to have something to fall back on, a little, last resort or hidden card, you want to have 6 pieces of this strength increasing sets. That's Ragnarok, Loki, Dragon Rider, anyone I just mentioned earlier, have 6 pieces of them. And then you want 4 pieces of these defense increasing sets. This will help you proc the 6 seconds immunity shield when you take a fatal strike. So you want to have 4 pieces of Wartrish for I or II depending on your level. Then you also want to have Kraken's Draw for those at level 120. For those at level 110, you want Revival of Jumon. For the level 100, you have Reviving Kraken. I won't advise you use this at the level 90s because see it right here, the invisibility lasts for only 2.5 seconds, so it's not that great. And that'll be it for the guide. That's it for the class. I think I've covered all of it. If you have any questions, you can drop them down in the comment section. This class, like I said again, is a glass cannon, so no matter what you do, you still probably won't be able to survive as well as some of the other tanky class like the Blade Masters and stuff, but it still depends in your playstyle. So I hope you guys enjoy this class because it is one fun class to use, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and as always, thanks for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.